Alright, Karina baby, it is April the 12th. So, this is the book I'm going to read you from the 366 Day book. And it's The Wolf and the 5 Baby Rabbits. Once upon a time, there was a mother rabbit with her 5 babies lived together in a cottage by a meadow. And in the woods nearby lived a wolf who was always hungry. One morning, Mother Rabbit said to her babies, "I'm going to go buy a bunch of carrots. Stay inside the cottage and don't open the door to anyone. I might be the wolf come to eat you up." The 5 baby rabbits promised they wouldn't open the door, and Mother Rabbit went shopping. She hadn't been away long when came a tap, tap, tap at the door. It was the wolf up to his tricks. "Open the door," he said. "I've brought you a present." The baby rabbits couldn't just see 2 pointy ears outside the window. "Go away," they said. "You're not our mother. She has very long, soft ears with smooth, round tops." Oh no, they just told the wolf what the mama rabbit looks like. Let's see what happens. So the wolf went away and thought of a cunning plan. He made himself a pair of long, soft ears with smooth, round tops and stuck them on top of his head. "I look just like Mother Rabbit now," he thought. He only thought that, though. Mama's rabbits are going to look like Mama Rabbit. Wolf isn't going to be able to show them that. The wolf went back to the cottage and tapped at the door. Again. "Open the door," he said. "I've brought you a present." The baby rabbit looked through the window. This time they saw 2 long, soft ears with smooth, round tips. "It's our mother," they shouted. And they opened the door. Oh no. The wolf sprung inside and bundled the terrified little rabbits into a sack, all except the youngest, who had hidden under a chair. The wicked wolf slung the sack over his shoulder and started for home, but the sack was heavy, and on the way he stopped to rest. Soon he was fast asleep, dreaming of the fine rabbit pie he would have that night. When Mother Rabbit got home and found all her babies gone, you can imagine how upset she was. Very, very upset, baby. Suddenly, the youngest one crawled out from his hiding place and told her what had happened. "We must go after them at once," said Mother Rabbit, and they ran along the path to the woods. Mother Rabbit paused, twitched her long, soft ears with the smooth, round tips, and listened. Mother Rabbit stopped to listen. "I can hear snoring," she said. Soon they found the wolf, still fast asleep with the sack close by. As quickly and as quietly as she could, Mother Rabbit untied the sack and hope the baby rabbits. Oh, and out hopped the baby rabbits. 1, 2, 3, and 4. "Now hurry," whispered Mother Rabbit. "We must each find a big stone and put it in the sack." So that what they did when the sack was full. Wait. And put it in the sack. So that's what they did when the sack was full. Mother Rabbit tied it up, and they all scampered home. At last the wolf woke up and slung the sack on his back. "Goodness," chuckled Wolf. "This sack feels heavier than ever. I have caught the fattest little rabbits for my supper." Oh no, he thinks he has rabbits for his supper. But when he got home and found that he had been tricked, The wolf was very angry. He howled with rage and threw the sack of stones in the air, and it came down and squashed him flat. And from that day, Mother Rabbit and her 5 babies lived happily for the rest of their lives. See that? The wolf tricked him, tricked the babies, but Mama came back and Mama tricked that wolf. Alright? So that was April the 12th. That's today. And since that one was that, I'm going to also read you Oh, What a Thanksgiving. And this is another scholastic. See? Scholastic. Oh, what a Thanksgiving. Oh, what a Thanksgiving. David was a boy with a wonderful imagination. When his teacher, Mr. Sanderson, began describing Plymouth Colony and the first Thanksgiving, David thought he could imagine just what being there would have been like. Look at that, he has his nice teacher and his nice classroom. Look at this baby. See that? The ocean and the ship. Mr. Sanderson said that in their search for religious freedom, the Pilgrims fled England to Holland, and then the year 1620, they sailed the way across the ocean to America on a ship called the Mayfair. Going home on the school bus, David imagined he was arriving in Plymouth Harbor with the other pilgrims. The voyage had been hard, but how exciting it was to be there at last. See, those people left everything that they knew behind, baby. And they just took a chance. They were like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? They all got on a ship, and they all came to America. Imagine how homesick they were. Plymouth Harbor disappeared. The bus arrived at David's stop. He imagined he was getting off in the first of a small cottage built during the first years of Plymouth Colony. It was made of wooden posts, sticks, and straw mixed with clay, and rough wooden clipboards. It had a steep threaded rope, a roof, and a chimney made of clay and sticks. That's all in his imagination. But the cottage disappeared, and there was David's house. It was big and white. Down the street came David's father. "David," he called, "come help me with the turkey for Grandma." "Okay," said David. David and his father walked towards the car. "Dad," said David, "why do we eat turkey at Thanksgiving?" "Well," said Papa, "your mama likes turkey, and I like turkey. Everyone likes turkey. But we don't know if the Pilgrims even had turkey at the first Thanksgiving. There's no proof." "Well, we're having it anyway. Get in the car," said Papa. Oh, look at his imagination at work again. He thinks that he is off hunting for a turkey. Imaginations are great, and sometimes they make you feel like you're there. You know, it's good to have a good imagination. David imagined he was off for a hunt for wild turkey for the first Thanksgiving. It was a lot more fun than going to the supermarket. David studied his musket, and he entered the woods. In his head, this is where he's at. He's studying his musket, and he's going right into the woods. But where is David really? He's in the supermarket with his papa. The car pulled into the shopping mall parking lot. "Come on," said David's father. "Let's hurry." They went into the supermarket. They walked down the long aisles filled with food. "I bet the Pilgrims would have liked something like this," said Papa. "I Don't think so, said David. I think they like doing the harvesting themselves. What do you think? Do you think they like to do the harvesting all by themselves? Or do you think that they would like a modern day supermarket where you walk in and pay money? Honestly, the harvesting by yourself, like the gardens that we had, you get a lot more by yourself when you have a garden like that. And when you harvest it, you can share it. So it's more helpful if you are able to harvest. David's imagination. He was helping garden corn for the first Thanksgiving. The sun was shining and everyone was happy. Many pilgrims had died during the past winter, but the survivors were well and the first harvest was bountiful. See how bountiful his harvest was? It's beautiful. That was much to celebrate, much to be thankful for. Look at how thankful he is to have an imagination where he could be at the first Thanksgiving doing his harvest. Oh, David, said Papa, pick out a can of cranberry sauce. Would you please? David went to the shelf and picked out the smooth kind, the kind that that sold out of a lob in the shape of the can. He handed the can to his father. Said Papa. This is fine, but Grandma likes the whole berries. Better get one of those too. The pilgrims didn't even have cranberry sauce at the first Thanksgiving, said David. Never mind, said Papa. We're having two kinds. So even though the pilgrims didn't have it at the first Thanksgiving for cranberry sauce, they're going to have the kind with the berries and the kind with the smooth. Isn't that going to be so much fun? And then look at this. When David and his father got home, Mama said, Hey, that's a great looking turkey. I think so, said Papa. It's okay, said David. Oh no, he said it's okay. What do you think is bothering him? Do you think that he wanted to go hunt turkey himself? What's the matter, David? Asked Mama. Aren't you excited about Thanksgiving? I guess so, said David. But it's not going to be a real Thanksgiving. Not like the Thanksgiving the pilgrims had. But everyone's coming, said Mama. Uncle Ned will do card tricks. Aunt Marie's in front of the Omaha. And don't you want to see your baby cousin, Catherine? Come on now, help me get the turkey ready. But David wasn't convinced. As his mother bustled around the kitchen, he imagined her cooking it in the pilgrim's cottage. The fire was on stone under their chimney. They would keep the coals burning all night. Early tomorrow they would roast the turkey and turn it with the fire irons. What a feast there was going to be. David's mother was wearing a cap and a white collar and an apron and her long skirt. She had to be cheerful. Oh, she had to be careful to keep her skirt out of the fire. Look at how careful Mama's being with her skirt. That night, as David was getting ready for bed, he couldn't help but think how much more exciting the first Thanksgiving must have been. He is longing for that first Thanksgiving, but he should be so grateful. Look at how grateful he should be. Look at how beautiful his room is. Look at how good he's doing. David woke up early in the morning. He imagined he was in a narrow bed on a mattress filled with straw. Across the cottage was one carved chair. There was one small table and one large trunk. In the corner, he could smell a smoke from the cooking fire. David said to his mother's breakfast ready. Oh, David, said his mother, breakfast ready. David stopped imagining he was in Plymouth's colony. He pulled on his bathrobe and rushed to the den. His parents had already started eating. They were watching the Marcy's Thanksgiving Day parade on TV. Yogi Bear and Mickey Mouse balloons floated by. This is always so great, said Mama. Yeah, said David, happily sitting down to eggs and toast. It's still not like the first Thanksgiving, though. Oh my, look at this. David imagined he heard the sound of marching feet. He looked out the window and there was Captain Miles Standish, Commodore and Chef of the Pilgrim Army. In chief of the Pilgrim Army. He looked a lot like Mr. Sanderson. Behold, him march 2 lines of soldiers. Look at this. David might get the Thanksgiving that he's dreaming of. Or is this in his imagination too? Let's see. And around them the feast was just beginning. There was long tables filled with ducks and goose and venison, with clams and corn, bread, and wild plums for dessert. There was matches and races being run. Chief Manasseh and 90 of his braves were arriving to celebrate the peace made with the governor Bradford during the past year. Oh, what a parade! Oh, what a Thanksgiving! Look at this beautiful Thanksgiving they're putting on for him. Let's see. Oh, maybe it didn't happen. Okay. The Marcy's parade was over. David helped his parents clear the breakfast trays. Okay, David, said Papa. When they were done, time to get dressed. We've got to be at Grandma's pretty soon. Do I have to wear my blue sweater? David asked. Yes, said Mama. It's cold outside. But I hate that sweater. It itches, and it looks terrible. You won't have to wear it for long, said Mama. And I like it. It looks terrific. David went to his room. He couldn't stand the dumb blue sweater. He hated the shirt and his pants and the good shoes that weren't anywhere near the comfortable as the sneakers. He imagined he was back in Plymouth Colony, putting on his high-waisted jacket called the double and the white-lined collar called a falling band. He put on his knee breeches and shoes. He looked fabulous. When he was ready, it was time to walk 2 blocks and around the corner to Grandma's. Wow, his grandma lived close. David imagined he had his parents and walking through the Plymouth Colony. On the right were newly harvested cornfields. On the left were 2 new cottages and a third that was almost finished. They stopped and said hello to the Indians, Somerset and Squashu. Both spoke English. Squashu, he shown the pilgrims how to plant their corn and where to fish. When David looked again, he was back in his own street. He saw his neighbors' homes, each one with a lawn and a garage, and a new house was almost complete. The 2 Indians were really Jim Holden and his teenage son, Jeff. They lived 3 houses away. When everyone was finished talking, Mama turned to David. You know what, she said, we forgot the carving board. Could you please go back and get it? David ran home, but as he ran, he imagined he was in the Plymouth Colony again. When he reached his door, he noticed a tall figure standing at the top of his hill behind the cottage. David climbed up after him. The hill he was climbing was Fort Hill, overlooking Plymouth. The figure on top was Captain Miles Standish. He was standing beside one of the 5 cannons. He was looking out beyond the colony. It was very beautiful. The figure turned. It was Mr. Sanderson. And the wildness beyond was David's own neighborhood. Hi, said Mr. Sanderson. David has never seen his teacher out of school before. Hi, he said. Why are you here? Bringing up here makes me think of the first Thanksgiving. But the first Thanksgiving was so exciting. It probably wasn't anything more exciting than ours. Times haven't changed, but we're thankful for the same things the Pilgrims were. Our homes, our friends, our families. I still think it would have been fun to be in Plymouth. It would have been. But Thanksgiving today is everything Pilgrim boys would have wished for. Gee, said David, I guess you're right. If a Pilgrim boy were here, I could even show him cranberry sauce. Mr. Sanderson smiled. Happy Thanksgiving, David. Thanks, Mr. Sanderson. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Oh my. He now feels so blessed to be where he's at and doing what he's doing. David ran down the hall. He got the carving board and ran all the way to Grandma's. Her home looked nice as any cottage in Plymouth Colony. Grandma hugged him and led him inside. Happy Thanksgiving, Grandma, said David. And meant it. Happy Thanksgiving, David said to Grandma. As they reached the dining room, everyone rose to greet them. But there was one unfamiliar guest. To David, he looked exactly like a boy from the Plymouth Colony. This is my neighbor, Michael, said Grandma. His parents are away, and he's spending Thanksgiving with us. Everyone started talking. Everyone seemed to get along. Even baby cousin Catherine wasn't so bad. But by the time the turkey was served, David and Michael were friends. It turned out to be a great Thanksgiving, and David knew why. What Mr. Sanderson said was really true. Thanksgiving today wasn't so different from the very first one. It was always be a time for appreciating your friends and family, your home and your teacher, and we will always be thankful for being together. David can't imagine anything better than that. See, it's good to have a good imagination, but it's good to know imagination from reality as well. Karina, baby, Mama loves you so very much, and I hope that you enjoyed that book. I miss you, and I love you, and I will be there soon. Mama loves you, baby.